And this is This Week in Car Audio. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Tune in, tune in, tune in. What we talking about, bass? I'm talking about chips. Talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Yeah. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, co-hosted by Mr. Jeffrey Fernandez. What's good, Jeff?
Nothing much, Doug. Just hanging out.
That's good. Get any shows set up for the upcoming season, or I've been talking to people and they're trying to put together some shows. So, did I lose you, Jeff? Is it me or is it you?
I think I think you froze for a little bit.
Yeah, you froze there for a second. So what do you got going on?
Nothing much. I was just checking out your shirt, what it says, man.
Oh, this is a bowling
city tournament.
Yeah, city bowling tournament. Yeah.
Do they hand out like swag at these tournaments?
They do sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but they definitely do sometimes.
Do they give out like bowling balls or bowling pins?
So they put bowling balls up for raffle.
Oh, wow.
But if you want to buy a ticket and raffle and support whatever cause it is, that's it. But I'm not a gambler, so I don't spend my money doing those kind of things.
I can recall going to like bowling alleys and they would do like 50-50 raffles.
Yeah, they do a lot of 50-50 raffles.
Yeah.
They do stuff like that.
Have you ever thought about doing one at a show and an event?
What?
Like a 50-50 raffle?
I've done stuff like that before.
Okay.
We have done. I've had a lot of raffles, and we actually use the money in the raffles to add to the West Coast Prize Fund, right?
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Eric Hansen in the chat there. Pop out the chat.
What's going on, Eric?
And then minimize, and let's go to Facebook chat. And wrong button. Anyway, so if anybody up here has any questions about rules, this would be a great time to ask them. We did put out some new rules. Do you have like a synopsis of the couple of rules that did come out, Jeff?
I believe. Well, I have the rule book open here on my iPad.
Okay.
I was kind of going through it. I think the biggest thing was what a lot of people are waiting for were the extreme clarifications, so to speak.
Right.
And it's pretty good news, I guess, for a lot of people. I haven't seen anything negative.
I've had a lot of raffles, and we actually
clarification. So, I don't know. Should we just dive into it?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, let's see here. Let me
just real quick for those people that are watching right now, watching us live. If you guys have any questions about the rules or want to chime in about the rules, just chime in and let us know. Anyway, so what were you gonna go after, Jeff?
So I do believe, and I think Tyler Archer from Canada had mentioned the rule about the reflective surfaces.
Okay.
And there should be 12 inches away. Well, there should be 12 inches of clearance, right, from the placement of the sensor. So Ray Choi would do is he would take his mic jig, put it up to the
spin it around.
Yeah, put it up to the dot, and whatever hit, technically that would, if it would hit, then that would mean that, you're in violation of the reflective surfaces
Yep.
rule. However, um, and for whatever reason, well, I guess let's just get to with the conclusion of what happened. So it used to be where, like, say the ceiling, or some people call it roof,
Right.
and the dash um, would fall into that, not like vehicles would not clear, would have that 12-inch clearance,
Is that where
therefore not
people
be
were?
legal.
Is that where people were putting like the pocket in the ceiling and stuff like that?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as reflective surfaces, that's
By the way,
it now
Tyler
includes the
Archer's in
ceiling.
the.
Oh, there we go.
He's in the chat there. Says, "Let's
Perfect.
go." Center consoles aren't reflective anymore. Anyway,
Correct.
so
Yes.
so I don't know, finish your thought, sir.
So, I mean, that's exactly what it is. So let me read, let me find out. I just had it, but just like Tyler had mentioned, center consoles is not a reflective surface that should be included in the 12-inch clearance. Um,
So you can have a
here.
center console that's higher than your dash. I thought the rule was in there that the dash and the center console can't be higher than the dash.
Right, but I think in some instances where you would use that mic jig, it would hit the center console that's in front of the dash. Well, I mean, in most cases it's connected, but
Right.
um, there was a picture.
Okay.
Okay, so all reflective surfaces, with the exception of the windshield,
Mm-hmm.
dashboard, and newly highlighted center console and roof, must be located a minimum of 12 inches or 30.48 centimeters from the measurement
That's this
sensor.
big,
Yes, yes. So for our
precisely.
UK friends, right? UK
Yeah.
uses the, okay.
Well, UK uses both actually.
Oh, do they?
Yep. They use like
Okay.
miles per hour, and then
And
they use
kilometers.
kilometers and kilos and
Oh,
centimeters and stuff like that. So they
okay.
do have a little mixture of both.
So for clarification purposes, to continue on here, the DB Drag Racing Association considers any surface greater than 3/8 of an inch in width to be a reflective surface. Okay. So
Okay.
that's new. That was clarified.
Okay. Just for anybody that's listening in or hasn't looked at the rules, when you go online and you look at the rules, he strikes out the old rule when he
Yep.
puts up the new rules. The new rules are highlighted in pink. Is that what color they are, or green? What are
It's
they
like a
this year?
purple,
Okay,
maybe
purple or
fuchsia,
pink. Yeah, fuchsia colored.
fuchsia color.
Um, so yeah, so you guys can see what has changed. He makes it real simple. Anytime he changes a word or anything like that, it's real simple. I mean, you just look on there and you see what color it is, and it's that easy. Tyler says side glass doesn't have to follow OEM slant anymore.
Correct. That was one of the clarifications I was going to
That's a big
mention.
change,
Yeah, it's a
um,
big change.
because it was with the thickness of the glass that people were using. It was making it very difficult to follow OEM slant.
Correct. Correct.
So,
In most
um,
cases, it would be the door frame and then just straight down.
yeah, the Duke says that's why I stay stock. It's easy to be legal that way.
I guess it depends how you look at it, because if you've been competing in extreme for the longest,
Yep.
changes might be minimal, changes might be a lot, but when you kind of factor in stock, I guess clarification and stuff like that, it might be just as difficult,
Oh yeah,
just as time
some
consuming.
hey, is this panel stock or stock equivalent?
Right.
Um, So Joel wants to know: is there anybody anywhere that somebody can purchase a sensor placement jig? Do you know of anywhere, Jeffrey? Because we made our own, right? Is that you
I
made your own
I
too?
I do believe there are some. It's like an outline or
Yep.
like a cutout
Yep.
that's available.
There's definitely
Yes,
a template.
template. That's what I meant to say.
Yes, there's a template on there,
Mhm.
and if you are going to make one, make sure you make it in quarter-inch thick material. Just because, like, there's our rule where you have to be a
Did you
quarter
say
inch away
quarter?
from, yeah, quarter inch.
Eighth. I think I believe it's an eighth.
No, no, no.
Correct.
If you make it a quarter-inch thick, then it works out for you sliding it between the box and the back seat for that portion of the rule.
I believe it's an eighth.
Does it call out a thickness on it?
Yes.
Oh, it
Um,
does.
there is a definition. I believe it's in the definitions where it actually shows that diagram where they're slipping the um
Uh huh.
uh yeah, where they're slipping the mic jig. And yeah, it says jig thickness 1/8 of an inch,
Oh.
3.175 millimeters.
Eric
Yeah.
Hansen says, why did Top Dog go from 50 to 75 points? And the Duke says, everything's 75 now. So the reason behind that is Top Dog and Base Race weren't offered everywhere at all the shows, and it made it difficult to get those points. Now, pretty much all the judges show have Top Dog and Base Race at all their events, which is why now they've raised that to 75.
And I think to make it more linear, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And also,
Yep.
and
Tyler
it's what,
says
oh, okay.
consistency is key to
There
this,
you go.
right?
And also to touch upon what Cody Harris had mentioned last week on the show, it's um, about the bonus points.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
no, it's a Kickstarter program.
Kickstarter program, yeah.
So technically, if you sign up for your DB Drag membership, you get that bonus. And I think it's up until, I think it might have expired for the first part of it. But you were able to get 20 points right off the bat just
Wow.
for signing up for your DB Drag membership. So if they kept it at 50, I don't know. That
Michael Graves says, is there still going to be a gas saver option for finals?
hmm,
That's actually a really good question.
mhm.
That would be one that you can text or email or message Cody, and
Yes.
that would fall under his privy of what to ask that. That's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
Um,
But I would, just to be on the safe side, maybe not take that in consideration.
mhm.
Um,
Try and
you
get your
know,
points either way, right?
yes, correct. That is correct.
Uh, Michael Graves, it's because he knows he has to make that drive. So I'm guessing Michael's somewhere up in Canada, and Canada's a big space. But now they have the new judge out there to help kind of split Canada up, so that should be helpful. Um, uh, what's his name? Joel Yabamit. So he's talking about hosting some 1X events out here in California.
Cool.
Oh, wow. Michael says his trip last year to finals was 32 kilometers one way. So that's like, what, 200 feet?
Is it?
No, no, it's a lot. It's probably something like 2,800 miles, I would guess. Would be just off the top of my head. 2,500. Steve Willis popping in said, "What's up? Hey, you know what? So all the people in here and whatnot. Steve Willis asked me about a guy, and I have never heard this name. I asked Wayne and Celise; they are not familiar with the name either. But the name was Richard Guffey. He ran the old PPI Art Series amps." And he was some kind of SPL special guy. So Eric Hansen says he's done. He's done, got his signed up. So if anybody is familiar with Mr. Guffey, yeah, let Steve Willis know. So yeah, he asked me about it. I asked Wayne and Sleece about it. Um,
Does he owe money?
no, 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 no. I think he said something about he does amplifiers or something.
Uh,
And
oh,
Steve
okay.
says it might not have been in drag, but had records in SPL. So anyway, if anybody knows anything about Mr. Guffey, hit up Steve or post it right here in the chat, and we'll share it with him. Like I said, it's not often that we hear names that we aren't familiar with, or at least we can't get. We can't talk to somebody that's familiar with the name, right? Slade Johnson says, I think the closest DB drag show to me this year will be Heat Wave. Where do you live at, Slade?
He's actually out of deep East Texas, kind
Deep
of near
East.
where my in-laws live.
Oh, so like an hour and a half east of Dallas? Or
No, like
further?
3 hours south.
Oh, okay. So closer
So
to Houston and that area?
pretty, I
Or kind of
think,
triangulated from
yeah,
that? Yeah, he
in
says
that area.
deep East
Deep,
Texas.
that's what they call it, deep East Texas. But
Okay.
yeah, I think maybe Heat Wave out, or where are they doing it? I forgot where exactly they're doing it, but that might be the closest DB
Hmm.
drag.
But
Um,
what can he do, right?
he could sponsor an event
Or host one of his own, right?
or host one
Run
of
an
his
event
own.
himself, right? That'll
Hmm.
help him get points. I'm trying to get a list of them. I don't know what that means. He's trying to get a list of something.
Ah, okay.
I think that might be venues or something. Eric Hansen wants to know, are we doing multi-venue for finals? That has not been decided yet, Eric.
Mhm.
So,
I
um,
think though, maybe based on participation,
it is.
then it's hard to deny them, deny the competitors if So I would say, like you said, it's up in the air, but if you really want to make it happen, just go out there and attend 10 events.
Hmm. Warren Jackman says, help get the scene started in your area.
Mhm.
I'm sure he's talking to Slade, you know.
Ah, right.
So that's cool. I mean, like I said, DB Drag is on a mission this year to try and bring in new judges to start new areas, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's a good thing. Um, and just so you know, we as judges, um, we're available through Messenger and stuff pretty readily. And if you are at an event and you have a question about a rule or whatnot, we're usually pretty available. Hit us up, Jeffrey or myself, or anybody on the DB Drag website. So it usually is pretty quickly. And if you let us know that, hey, I'm going to be doing an event, and you let us know you're going to be doing an event, and then you might have questions. If you let us, Jeffrey and I know that beforehand. At least myself, I can't speak for Jeffrey, but for myself, I'm definitely will make myself as available as I can during that time to answer questions and help make your event as successful as we possibly can. Let's see. Slade says he asked Jeffrey about one earlier.
About a show,
I
I know
guess so.
he had a. Oh, it was probably a rules question
Oh, got you.
that asked.
All right. Eric Hansen says I had a judge, but he moved away. Warren Jackman starting hosting 1X shows this last year in my
Hmm.
area, so Ray didn't have to travel 9+. Oh, so Warren must be the other judge on the east side of Canada. Is that who you are, Warren? Question mark. You can tell I talk to my phone a lot. um,
I wonder how relieved Ray was when say Warren was starting to host the event. It was he like, I don't have to drive out, so far anymore.
Yeah, well, I asked Ray to come on tonight, and he's like, "Man, I'm already committed." Oh,
Uh,
he's Western Canada.
oh, okay.
Okay, but that's still 9 hours because I think Ray's like almost in the center of Canada.
Mm.
So Zamir Khan is the Eastern. So Warren, does that mean you are a just a 1X, a 2X? What judge are you? Just curious. Because, Ray's been training people up there over the years. And like I said, it helps. Is Doug coming to Dallas Fort Worth? It's
That's
still
the
in the
question.
works. And to be quite honest with you, I'm leaning heavily that way. So
So see, Eric, you're gonna have a judge there.
let me see if there's a way I can. Um,
Oh, Warren says he's a 1X judge right
yep.
now, aspiring to become a 2X.
Oops. Dang it. I'm going to invite him in to see if he wants to come on the Zoom with us and join us for the remainder of the time,
Who is it?
So,
Is that
huh?
you said who exactly?
Warren.
Oh, okay.
There he goes. I sent you a link to the Zoom. Warren, if you click that, then we'll add you to the chat. Let's see here. Now go back to my. There we go. Right.
And
All right, Miguel ain't loud. What does it take to become a new judge? Oh, Nick Semino popping in. That's cool to see him again. Haven't seen him out here in a while. Anyway, Jeffrey, want to go over what it takes to become a new judge?
I think Steve basically answered that question by a meter.
Well, there's more to it than that.
Right. That would probably be step one.
Yep.
Or not necessarily. If there's like a shop or somebody who has a meter. More importantly, if they have a promoters,
right.
Promoters
says he already has a Magnum. Where are you located at? Oh, Zamir says, "Oh, hey, Zamir's here. We got all the Canadian judges on here." He says patience. Miguel says he already has a Magnum. Where are you located at, Miguel? That's first and foremost, right? So if there's not a judge in your area, so he's near RP. So Upper Midwest,
Indianapolis.
Yeah,
Indiana.
I think that'd
Indiana.
be. Oh yeah, he's an Indianian. He's an Indian. All right. I don't know how close necessarily that is to what's his name. To used to be Jeremy Weber. Now it's Wyatt Meyer. So I don't know how close that is to Wyatt. On the West Coast, our states are so freaking huge that, obviously Jeffrey and I are in the same state, but we're 5 hours away from each other. So, here he goes. I might have to jump on this judge bandwagon. That'd be cool, Nick. All right, so let me switch to the 3-man main. All right, turn your phone sideways, Warren. Let me change your name on here.
There you go.
Done. Hey, there it is. Now you got to take yourself off mute.
There we go.
There we go. Zamir, we need to get you on here too. So we'll work on getting on you here in 2 weeks because next week we're going to have the Autorama guys on here. So hit me up in Instant Messenger and we'll get you on here in 2 weeks. That'd be great. All right, Warren. So how many shows have you done?
Last year we did 8 shows, 7 of them actually being hosted by me and another person. One of them I had Ray come down for, just so we could have a certified show
Yep.
in our area.
Right.
But yeah, I had 7 hosted by myself.
Okay, so why don't you help Miguel out here? What would he need to do to become to start the judging process like you did
Yes.
last year?
Perfect person answer.
That's right.
So what it took was actually getting the term lab and everything needed that wise. Also, I had to contact Wayne and Celise just to kind of figure out what else I all needed and
Okay.
what other steps I needed to take.
So what was that list?
Just basically a tent.
Did they want
Or
you to have a
something like
DB
that.
drag tent or just any tent?
They weren't really too specific. They did ask for me to have a DB drag tent, but at the time I could not afford one.
Okay.
But that a PA system, so some sort of sound system.
And where did you get
Obviously,
yours?
the official term. I just have Costco brand PA system.
And what did that cost roughly for you?
That's Canadian.
$200
Yeah. So and
Canadian. Too.
yeah, 200 Canadian. So that's like $1.50 US money. So, but no, what I did is go in on Facebook Marketplace, and I just sold it to Jose Ramos, but I had 4 PA systems in my van, in my truck.
Wow.
I gave one of them to Ray Pimley, but on average, they cost me like $150, $200 for a really good system, and I just got it off of Facebook Marketplace. So if you're actually looking you can find some really good PA systems on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, that's where I got my first PA system. But also, just to kind of go back, so technically, you do not have to have a DB drag racing tent.
No.
But there is a minimum of some kind of banner.
That's right.
I believe
DB drag signage.
Yeah, some DB drag signage, or I think it could be, and I think they might still have it available at the Term Pro shop, but like a Term Lab, which should say DB drag on it, banner, and that's available on Term Pro shop.
Mm-hmm. So basically, you had a banner, you had a tent. But you need to get signage, any kind of tent, a PA system, a Term Lab with a Term Lab Magnum on it.
I don't even think a PA is necessarily a requirement.
I don't
but it
think it's a requirement, but it's super important.
Necessary.
Yes.
Correct.
Trying to communicate with everybody out there when you don't have a PA is difficult. Steve Willis says a karaoke machine.
Yeah.
To start with.
Yeah.
That's fine. Oh yeah, promoter package with the Term Lab, right?
And also to kind of expand on Term Lab, say you buy a Term Lab, you have options to add to it. I think at its base, it's like what the box, a sensor. But as far as being able to judge shows, you would definitely need to pick up another sensor, some clamps. I think, and a bunch more Cat 5 cables, Cat 6 cables.
You never have enough Cat 5 cables, Cat 6 cables.
Yeah,
I like the Cat 6 for because they hold up to being slammed in the door much better.
There you go.
And Steve says, all that just to do a 1X event? Yes, sir. DB Drag has a requirement that we try to maintain so that there's some consistency across the world with, or across the states or wherever, but at least there's a basic minimum expected thing, so when you go to the show, you know what to expect. Like we talked about last week, it's kind of a McDonald's thing, right? So you go into McDonald's and when you order a cheeseburger, the cheeseburger you're going to get, right? Same thing. Tyler says $4 to $5 grand can get you a set up nicely. That's getting set up really nicely.
Uh,
You know,
just to get a term lab and everything up here in Canada was almost $3,000 with the promoter's package. So
wow.
about $4,000 isn't actually far off for what he's talking about.
Okay. Yeah, he says.
Also, Tyler is about 2 hours away from me. He's one of the guys who helps me run shows. So
Yeah.
All right.
That's right. I mean, imagine like a group pull. You get a group of guys that want to do events, and hey, let's all chip in and make this 4,000.
Right.
Not so much for one person.
Well, you got to figure
fundraisers and stuff like that too, right? So
yeah. Let's see. I have everything but the promoter pack and DV Drag tent and banners. You can get the tent and banners, I think, on the website, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it, Warren? I know you can get banners. I don't know about the tent. Yeah, Tyler says we family and pool.
There you go.
And that's so when I first started doing DV Drag events here in California, there were literally, I think it was like 3 or 4 people, and that was it. And we only had DV Drag classes. We didn't even have base race, top dog, cyclone, right? We only had 3 or 4 people, and I only did, I think, 3 shows my first year. And I was able to next year do I really pushed hard. I was able to pick up more shows, got some more shows going, and I reinvested that money back into buying a better PA system. Like if you go back and look at my pictures from 2001, 2002, all the way through about 2005 or 6, whew, my setup, I had a $40 tent from Big 5, one of those green and white striped ones at one point. I had my PA system, like I said, was a karaoke, basically just a used karaoke system. And like I said, but over time, I was buying a piece here, buying a piece there, and within a couple of years, I totally got actually one of the nicest setups out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. What did Steve said? And now you are doing live feeds. That's right. And I do live feeds at my shows. So.
Oh, speaking of live feeds, I guess in addition to the term lab, you would need a laptop.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, at its basis.
And Les says Sam Horn had a great setup, but here's the thing: is Sam helped me immensely when I started getting my first setup, and he helped me design and put mine together. So Zamir says Term Lab with promoter pack, dual TVs with stands. I'm telling you, TVs are so cheap that we throw them at my shows. When we're done with the show, we just toss the TV. I find them all the time for $50 for 43 inchers. So
you can find them cheap here too. So
yeah. PA system, tent, table and chairs, extra table, 100-foot extension, and a generator in case there's a power failure. This is my basic setup.
Yep.
And that's a realistic basic setup. I don't have a generator. That's one thing I've never purchased. Jeffrey does.
Got 2.
Yep. But I've done a couple of shows where I've been out and the promoter or whatever provided the generator. So that's good. Thomas Renteria Jr. says, hello, I have a question. What's going to happen with the pending rule about Cyclone lower than 20 hertz points? All right. Anything?
That's Tomas. He attended my last event. He's out of Mexico, believe it or not.
Okay.
So at the event, I had announced new for 2025 Cyclone, where there was the 20 hertz.
20 hertz.
Yes. So now you can go lower than 20 hertz and score more bonus points. So I believe that was announced, and on the rules, you could take a look online. It says pending. So we know now in the system it hasn't taken into effect. Okay. I believe it could be a coding coding issue. Maybe
It
Wayne would
is.
have to code it into the term lab, and we would have to get new updates,
Mm-hmm.
and for that to go into effect. But I did notify DB Drag, and they are working on it, so it
Okay.
should be soon.
Okay.
But people have asked for it. They're like, "Can I play lower than 20 hertz?"
That's
And
cool.
they listened. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Because
One guy did 16 hertz
so
at my event.
so the guy who won World Finals for the loudest in Wall, I think it was Stone. So I don't
Oh,
remember
okay.
which class he was, but he played 18 hertz.
He's wall.
Okay, so he was the Wall guy. So he played 18 hertz,
Wow.
and he set the world record. Even though he was maxed at 20, his song was playing at 18 hertz.
Yeah.
So,
So Thomas, I hope that answered your question.
yep. Tyler says it's all about promoting your venue. You'll get your investment back, and you'll be able to keep a rotation. So here's one thing I would also like to. Tomas says thank you, and Miguel says thank you also. Here's one thing I'd also like to put out to you guys. If you do have a venue that is allowing you to be there, show your support to the venue. You Warren and Jeffrey. I mean Jeffrey's heard me do it countless times, right? Is hey, you know what? Walk inside, purchase a pair of interconnects, shake the owner's hand, shake somebody, say thank you for having us out here, right? That goes so far, right? So I just want to tell you guys, show your appreciation in these places. It's getting harder and harder to find venues. Are you having any issues, Warren?
I'm having issues. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
No. Are you having issues with finding venues and stuff?
Oh no, I'm not having any issues with finding venues actually.
Oh, perfect.
Well, you are in Canada. There's nobody there but meese. Bunch of meese, you know.
What is that? Mouse or
No,
moose?
mooses.
Mooses.
So
Well,
yeah,
that's a big step. I mean, that's a big hurdle. Is finding a venue. So I mean, that's like practically half the battle.
yep. Tyler says extreme class pending participation. So extreme cyclone guys get out and get in the lanes. So yeah, we didn't. Oh, Steve Willis points out clean up after the show. So important. Back in the days, I had a venue that we would go to 3 times a year, and we had they would bring bounce houses out, snow cone machines that were free to the kids. We'd have pizza eating contest or taco eating contest, and all that stuff would be provided at no cost until someone didn't clean up after themselves one time, and we lost that venue and those shows. So it went from 3 times a year to 0 times a year because of one instance where somebody didn't clean up after themselves.
Must have been pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. It was probably 8 foot wide and 6-7 foot tall pile of trash.
Wow. At my last event, luckily, I normally do like just a walkthrough
Right.
after the event,
Mhm.
and if there's a little bit of trash, I'll pick it up. But I mean, I'm constantly telling people, the entire duration of the show, hey, please pick up after yourselves. I know if we leave a mess here, we won't be invited back.
Right.
But Rosa and Moses actually stayed after and helped clean up too.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Don says Jeffrey we did okay on the cleanup.
Yes. Yeah.
Tyler said, I don't want to lose Extreme Cyclone after all that work.
We lose one.
Steve says he was a prick about it also, I think. Oh, I guess we lost Warren.
Uh-oh.
So.
He had some good insight, though.
No, he did.
Yeah. Believe it or not, and I might have mentioned this a few times, but there is technically like a judge's handbook. I don't think it's available to the public, but I mean, I've sent an electronic copy to, I think, Josh Tigtu a while back.
Yep.
I do have a hard copy. I think it's in my garage. It technically, it has like stuff
Uh-huh.
that you would need.
Another big thing if you're going to put on shows is trash cans. Make trash cans available.
Trash bags
Trash
also. I mean,
bags,
at the
yep.
very minimum.
At the very minimum.
Yeah.
Hey, Warren, thank you for popping in.
Yeah.
He says the audio is just echoing for him. But
Oh,
that's fine. Like I
yeah.
said, like you said, he had some great insights. And,
yeah. Good luck to all your shows.
Yeah.
That you got coming up. So
and
we'd like to hear from you.
And I'm sure he would definitely want encourage you guys to, do your own shows, right? Because it is worth it, and you guys will enjoy it, and it'll help get your points in your area. So the rule is you can compete, but you can only compete and be up to a 2x judge. And then you can only get 50% of your points that you need for finals from your own events. So 75, that means you can get 37 and a half, right? Or 32 and a half. No, 37 and a half points. 35, 70, 37 and a half points you can get from your own events. So, and you can't certify your own vehicle. So, with that being said, then you have to have a 3X judge come out and do at least one event for you. Warren and what was the other gentleman's name? I asked him to. Yeah, Zamir. They have Ray that can come out and do shows, help them out. Potential, Warren's close enough out this way. He may have a U.S. judge come up there and help him out, right? You don't have to have the closest judge come out and help you out. You can have...
you did that show out in Kansas, right? A couple years ago?
In Indiana.
Indiana, right.
Yep.
Okay.
I did one in Indiana. I did one at Dan Horner's shop. When do we have time to build? Yeah. Well, you're in California, so there's shows usually all year long. Now that I've stepped back, the show's slowed down, but Rick Garcia has been texting me, asking me a lot of stuff, so you'll be seeing stuff from him. Joel Yabamit, he's been doing stuff, and I'm working with Jose Ramos on getting shows going here in Northern California and Reno area. So, but like I said, another thing you guys might want to have is a cheap printer, at least for starting out, because you that way you can give away awards at your event, even if it is. Jeffrey used to do the dollar store
frames,
picture frames.
Yeah.
Right. And then with the Term Lab, you have an opportunity to print out certificates for the event with all the event information.
Yeah, that was another thing to mention also, our awards. But I mean, there's not really a minimum, so to speak. You could just do first place awards only type thing. You could do like the certificates. Fortunately, Wayne has wrote that into Term Lab, so you could just print it up. It's going to come up with everything, the name, the score, the information from the event, the sponsor,
the date,
and some really cool graphics onto it also. So Wayne had made it a little bit easier as far as awards.
Did you print on cardstock too?
Yeah, we've done that as well. But we recently, what I had done, or what actually I should say, Andy had done, was he created his own graphic on a certificate, and then just left the bottom part blank, because on Term Pro there's a way where you could just print data only, and it'll print up the line. And Andy had it perfect, where it's the Boom and Audio logo, and stuff like that, and he could change it if he wanted to. Like I think at the Crossfire shows, he added a 3X, logo on there and stuff like that, and left the bottom blank. So when we ran it through Term Lab and said, hey, we want certificates, data only, looked really, really nice.
That was actually how they started doing certificates when Wayne first put that in the system.
Hmm.
So he would send me actually blank, like the top graphic already filled out, and then we would just print out the information on the thing. Warren says certificates are highly sought after around there. Big bragging rights.
Cool. Yeah.
Stephen asked, a 2X can pop in as well. That is correct. It doesn't have to be a 3X judge. You just have to have a different judge do some stuff. Warren says custom certificates are awesome as well. Like I said, I don't know if you've looked in the ones at Term Lab, but I think there's 5 different ways you can set up the certificates.
Yeah, I think there's I want to say more, maybe like 8 or so different designs.
Tomas is asking, what's the cost for a 2X show? So that is a question most likely you would have to ask Jeffrey. Or is 101 Eventos still doing shows down in Mexico?
I'm not sure. I think that's the Brazilian judge, correct?
Oh, is it? Okay.
I
It may
believe so,
be.
but there is a judge out in, I think, Thomas's area, Roberto Pedrosa.
Oh, yeah,
He's
Roberto. I thought he was 101 Eventos. No.
I don't think so. I know he's a 2X judge. I think he's Subsonic. I think that might be the name, but yeah.
So if that's the case, Tomas, you might want to contact Roberto and see what the cost is. You can also contact Jeffrey. If it's in Mexico, though, Roberto would have purchased the rights to Mexico, so Jeffrey couldn't just drive down there and do a show if he wanted to.
He actually has asked to do a collaboration together.
Oh, awesome.
But I think it had to get worked out with the sponsor.
Okay.
But hey, if you got an event out in Cancun, Mexico, the resort side, hey, I'm available.
Steven says it's $1 million for a 2X. Oh yeah, Tomas says he's Subsonic.
Right.
Dave Bradshaw popping in today. What's going on, Dave? Warren says, I made a couple of custom certificates with our logos and venue logos right on the certificates, with also the 1X, 2X, or 3X logos on them.
Perfect. Yeah.
He says he wants to do one in California, so he'll get up with you, Jeffrey.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yep. Jeffrey's your man.
I'm just looking for venues.
That's right. California is very populated, and so it makes it sometimes tough to come up with a venue. But hey, man, we have cars. We do travel. So we're big fans of doing whatever it takes to help the event grow. We're here to help you guys out. If you guys want to be a judge, let us know. We will do everything we can to help make you guys a better judge, help make you an efficient judge. You got to think, Jeffrey, you've been doing this now 9 years or so?
I think a little bit longer.
Oh, have you?
Since 07.
Oh, 07.
08.
I was thinking 17. Sorry. Yeah. So you've been doing this almost 20 years, 18 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And me myself, I've been doing it for just a little bit longer, 25 years. So, between Jeffrey and myself, we know what it takes to get an event done, and kind of the things that become problems. Oh yeah, Jesse Navarro talks about Lee Duco. He has since passed.
Okay.
If you guys don't know, yep. Zamir says the Term Lab has a few templates for certificates that you can choose from. Color prints with cardstock goes a long ways, and competitors love them. Yeah. So, just Zamir, I don't think I've ever met him, and he doesn't know what I got going on. But so when I first started judging, I looked at what was the thing that competitors liked the most. and it was nice trophies. So at my events, my first place trophy is 23 inches tall at a 1X. So,
I don't think they had like really custom trophies back then.
No.
Like they didn't have acrylic. They
Right.
didn't have, well, maybe they might have had metals, but
yeah, we
yeah.
did some metals, but yeah, the acrylic thing wasn't really a thing because you had to
Right.
make each one at a time instead of on a laser
Nice.
jet, So Bobby Gately did some back in, I don't know, 2010, 2015
Oh,
for
okay.
Autorama that were really, really nice.
But
Smiley,
yeah, trophies.
Smiley, isn't he out of the Dallas area? Says,
Yeah.
Judge, let me borrow your equipment, Jeffrey. How do you become a multi-point judge?
I actually have a stash of judge equipment at the Grapevine.
Ooh, I won't even
anybody
have to
wants to
bring my
borrow.
stuff.
Exactly. You could borrow it.
Anyway, so Jeffrey, do you remember the process to becoming a multi-point judge?
I have the judge's handbook. I do remember they mentioned something about a certain amount of
Right.
1Xs.
So you have to do 6Xs for your first year.
Wait, what? Six
Yep.
1Xs?
6 1Xs, I think.
Oh, okay.
Right? It was either 4 or 6.
Okay.
Kenneth says, by giving up your right to compete. No, you can still compete and be a 2X judge. Smiley says, let me know where.
It's stashed.
It's stashed.
I don't even know if Roger knows.
He will find out when he moves.
Yes.
All right. So, are the new DB Drive amps good quality? This is the wrong show for that question. Just saying. Blake Dameron. We don't really do like product reviews and stuff. All right. Oh, here we go. 5 of the 1X shows and 1 multi-point with a 3 or a 4X judge.
Yes.
Then you do that again the following year. When you do it the following year, the 3 or a 4X judge will evaluate you and give a recommendation, and then you will move up to a 2X judge. You must attend and run a finals, I think, for 2 years, and then you become a 3X judge. So I think at minimum it's a 4-year process to become a 3X judge. 2X judge in 2 years, and then a 4X judge, I think, in 4 to 5 years. So I hope that Smiley says I better get started. Uh-oh. That wasn't a button I wanted to click. All right. Zamir says that's correct. Remember doing 6 shows in a week?
What?
Jesse did. Lee Duco used to do a lot of shows with sometimes not a lot of participation. But
I've gone to a few of those back-to-back days, some during the day and some during the evening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kenneth says that's a wild process. I believe it's a necessary process.
True. Yeah.
It may be wild, but it is definitely a necessity because, DB drag judges, I truly believe it doesn't matter which certified judge you go to. I believe they have the utmost integrity to give you a fair competition. Did I say that right, you think, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
I think we go above and beyond on that. And so much so that when one of you guys ask us a question, Kenneth says you can become a master electrician faster.
Really?
It's a 5-year apprenticeship. You don't become a master after 5 years, but you do become a journeyman. But the rules are ever changing. See, Kenneth, I don't know where you hear this. People always say that, and I don't know where they get their information. I mean, realistically, we haven't had a major rule change in, I don't know, 7-8 years?
Hmm.
So, it's insane that people keep saying this. The rules are ever changing. They aren't ever changing. Usually, it's 1 or 2 clarifications a year, and that's it.
Right.
Um,
And it's all in the interest of,
Whoa!
whoa.
I just got a whole crap load of text,
Uh-oh.
and then they all disappeared. Let's see. Somebody had a really good thing asking about consistency and judging. And my guess is it was next to me. Tyler, people always complain about consistency in judging. Imagine if it was even less time to become a judge. I think it's important for consistency's sake. I agree, Tyler.
Do you want a 3X judge who's only been judging for a year?
Yeah.
I guess you can look at it that way.
So stock 500, stock 1K, stock 2K all changed in the last 4 years. No, they haven't. We've eliminated stock 500. We still got stock 1K. Did anything change in stock 1K?
No.
Nothing's ever changed in that. Stock 2K, nothing's changed. So, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Kenneth. Our rules don't change. Major rule change, Steve Willis says airbags. Yep. That I would consider that's about as major of a rule change. But we didn't eliminate the classes that people can compete in. They still had the opportunity, but they had to compete in a different class other than the stock 1K and 2K if they didn't have an airbag. And
again, it's kind of like maybe there was an issue with an interpretation of a rule that we had to clarify. It's all in the interest of a level playing field, fairness. Maybe, something needed to be clarified. So, I mean, I can't really recall a big enough change.
Yeah. Steven says the real question is, why did we make those changes?
Could be a bunch of different reasons.
That is a astute question. Stock 1K became 50 hertz cap class. I believe it was always 50 hertz. I don't remember it. Nick Semino says the best judges will be people who competed in DB drag for many years, the ones who know the rules minus the gray areas. And that's true. Oh, look who we got in here. We got Leonard Foster. We were just talking about you last week or the week before or something. Leonard, we were talking about you on here.
Uh-oh.
So, older cars killing the class, Steve Willis says, the airbags. Yep. And that rule was more of not necessarily the older cars killing the class, but it was more of we wanted to make it closer to an entry-level class. And somebody that was coming in with an entry-level system didn't have a 1989 Honda CRX. They didn't have a Suzuki Samurai from the 80s. They're coming in with a 2015 Honda Accord, right? And they're trying to compete. So that was the intention of the 50 hertz cap and the airbag. Yep. That's how did that work out? It worked out fine. It accomplished the goal.
But why are we why are we talking about like rule changes that happened in the past?
I know.
So, is that deterring your participation?
Yep.
Is it gonna be a detriment for new competitors? If anything, these clarifications could help new competitors. I mean, if you were shooting for that OG 10K class, and now it's no longer available. I mean, we apologize.
Yep. Lack of participation.
Yeah, there's that lack of participation. Maybe, that said person could have gone out and, made,
I mean,
uh,
Joel's doing a great job with Pink It Out, right?
yeah.
He actually travels the world. And so,
Um,
so anyway,
at my last event, he competed in every format.
yep,
So, I mean,
yep, no problem. All right. Anybody else have any rules questions about this year's rules?
there
Yeah,
was something too that
I
was
missed
kind of
something.
new.
Okay.
Um, and I'll invite everybody to check it out on the
Uh huh.
rule book.
And so if anybody doesn't know how to do that, go to termpro.com, termpro.com. Click on the DB drag link. Then right in the center of the page, it'll say 2025 rules. Click on that, and it'll be the matrix. And then you'll be able to click through
Yeah.
and filter out the stuff that you're looking for.
There was a clarification on a definition
Okay.
of
Oh, the jump seat.
yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, and I'm looking at it right now. The definition, and it even has it
Hold
stricken.
on. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Quadwood items coming soon. I mean, they've been coming since 2005. So soon is very relative. So, hey, can you read that new rule about the jump seat?
Yeah, there was a couple of mentions about it,
Okay.
but I think this is probably what people were really looking forward to. Okay, so the jump seat is under definitions, and it
Okay.
says the DB Drag Racing Association defines a jump seat as an OEM seat that was designed to be folded up against the side of the pickup's passenger compartment.
Okay.
And let me point out what was stricken, and you could see it's in fuchsia, and there's a line through it. It used to say or back,
Uh-huh.
but now that has been stricken to just
Okay.
solely be folded up against the side of the pickup's passenger compartment.
Okay. There you go. So it has to fold up sideways, not back.
Correct.
Okay. No problem. Almost hitting the ditch reading them. Tyler
What?
says he was trying to read the rules while he was driving across
Oh,
Providence,
don't do that.
and he almost hit a ditch reading them. So, but like I said, the best way to help grow the sport is if there's an event, bring somebody with you, right? Everybody brings one person, we double participation at the events. The other way is to start hosting your own events. One of the best examples out there right now has been what's his name in Tennessee Base Racers? Chris with Tennessee Base Racers, Wall Street Chris. Freaking grew a great community. I think they have like 14 people go to World Finals from that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was 100% on somebody who just wanted to make sure he had shows in his area.
Exactly.
Not being allowed to do stock 1K. I forgot why the 2023 truck couldn't, but I don't know off the top of my head. Promoting events and the vendor promotion. Absolutely, Tyler. And if you guys wanted a location to help find you your like first location or a to start with, is you can start talking to car clubs that have car shows because they've already got the space and the permits and all that. It's super easy. Zamir says marketing your events via social media, word of mouth, and speaking with promoters. And you guys can always just let us know. We'll let people know about your shows coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We used to do every week we would go to the calendar and we would talk about all the shows. If you guys want us to start doing that and say where all the shows are again, we can start doing that again. And every show every week with, hey, this is the next week's shows. Jeffrey Dan Bell, T.W.I.C.A world champion at finals, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a competitor out in the
Oh,
Texas area, Dan Bell. I think he
okay.
just won the world championship in
Oh,
USAC. So congrats to Dan.
awesome. Um, and Warren says they team together with local car shows all the time. So like I said,
Yeah.
that's how we can help you guys get better. Jeffrey and I are here. Like I said, if you need, let us know ahead of time that you're going to be having an event that weekend. I can make myself a little more available for you so I can answer questions in a timely fashion. But other than that, I would love to, I'd love to see DB Drag grow. Really has been, I've been part of it for a very long time, and it has grown since I've been part of it, and I would love to see it grow more.
And now with the addition of Cody Harris
Yeah,
on the front line, coming up with these initiatives, the Kickstarter program, and that's just for starters. So it's even more exciting now to see where it's going to be.
Yep. And if you guys can, please go to the YouTube and just subscribe. I have not got a new subscriber on YouTube in like 4 months. I'm holding at like 400 and something subscribers on YouTube. So if we can get more people up there, it'd be awesome. I'd love to get to the 1,000 someday.
It's cool, but it's not why we do it, right?
No, it's absolutely not 100%
not,
why we
don't do it for the views or.
Oh, here we go. Steve Willis is asking Leonard, because Leonard's been around a long time. Have you ever heard of Richard Guffey? So, Kenneth says Cody has done more promotion in a week than I saw in the 6 months prior. That's not an untrue statement. And he has the enthusiasm to do it. It's fresh in his eyes, and as long as we don't sour him on the drama involved, because Car Audio, we are a big family, and with every big family there's always drama. So our YouTube is it Sonic FX, or is it This Week in Car Audio, or let me see here.
It's This Week in Car Audio. You can just do a search for it.
Yeah, you can do a search for This Week in Car Audio. Oh yeah, it's that my YouTube is This Week in Car Audio. That's right, we changed it. So, yep.
Yeah.
This Week in Car Audio. Lord of Base Manny made it in the house finally.
Oh, is he on the YouTube side?
He is on the YouTube side.
Oh.
Look, I can post those ones. I can make those show up on the screen. You know what? I am on forced vacation right now, so tomorrow I may sit down and figure out how to get the questions to start popping up on the screen again. Because I could either be fishing to Google T.W.I.C.A, not Tweaker. I would rather be fishing in my backyard because, I only got a couple more months where I can fish, and the fishing's freaking awesome right now. But I think I'll try and figure out this week, since I'm sitting at home, how to get the chat to show back up. All right, Jeffrey, any final thoughts?
Really use the website as your resource. And you mentioned it earlier. Just do a search DB Drag Racing rules. That's how I brought this up. It should bring up the most current rules. Just navigate your way through it. Just be informed, I guess. I guess that I just invite everyone to check it out, and if you have any questions, and the answer might be there right in front of you. And
and the other thing is, as I started to say earlier, that sidetracked. If you ask Jeffrey a question, he's going to ask me. He's going to ask Jeremy Creamer. He's going to ask Wyatt. So if you ask one of us, you ask all of us. And by asking another judge and trying to get a different answer, chances are It's not. You're not going to get a different answer. So, and if the answer is any kind of I'm not sure, then it goes into the judging forum, and then all the world judges look at it also.
But also want to be clear though, and there's a term that people had used. It was like internet judging.
Yeah.
We don't really like. There was a competitor who had asked Doug some questions about competing, and I know who that guy is, and he failed to mention some aspects of his vehicle that don't allow him to compete, or for whatever reason don't allow him to compete. And it's for that sole reason that we don't say, I'm going to judge your vehicle on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger.
Right.
You know, obviously it's something that we would invite you to bring your vehicle, come out to a show, or maybe provide us some more pictures, but we can't for sure say, you know, specifically classify you in a certain class solely on correspondence through Facebook Messenger, you know.
We can give you a if as accurately depicted, this is what the class would be.
Right. From what you're showing me, this is probably what you could, you know, but you go there and you you know, you come with like I don't know. But
so one of the best examples is we had him on here, Greg Purchell calls me up and says, hey, can I fiberglass my wheel well?
Oh, that's right.
And I said, for World Finals, absolutely. CRX, you can fiberglass the inside of your wheel well. It just needs to become an amp rack or whatever, you know, and just so he found out that if he filled his wheel well with fiberglass, he got like 1.5 dB louder. And so he just filled it, and then he tried going to World Finals and saying, well, Doug said I can fill my whole... No. What I said is you can fiberglass it so it's of like shape and thickness of the factory, you know, panels. And he had 5.5 gallons of fiberglass in there, of epoxy resin. Yeah. So, yeah.
And that's prime example of why we need clarifications.
Yes.
You know, maybe we felt the need to not put that in the rules that year, but you know, maybe it was something that we were like, oh, okay, now we got to clarify. You can't fill your whole wheel well with resin.
Yep. And then this is also a good thing that Nick points out. Says, don't think just because your vehicle might have passed at a 3X audit at one show, it would pass at another or be legal at finals after you made drastic changes. And the idea behind that is, you know, I might see your, like say Nick was in my area and I saw his car 25 times this year. What happens is I've seen it so many times, I might not have caught what he did or what he changed from the first time I looked really hard into this. And, you know, and he made these changes, but I've seen his car and I don't look as hard. And honestly, when you've seen the same vehicle 20 times, you don't look as hard at it. Now, I go out of my way when I do a 3X to try and look extra. And also, when we're going to finals and we're coming up towards the end of the season, I really start sitting with the guys in their cars and say, hey, you going to finals? Okay, let's just make sure this is right, this is right. But, you know, when you show up at finals, somebody's going to see that with a fresh set of eyes, and something that may not have caught my eye may catch Jeffrey's eye or may catch Jeremy's eye at World Finals. So, and then it's up to you to say, hey, it's within the rules and here's why. Let's see here. Zamir says, one example, we had a competitor show me pics via Facebook. All was okay. Then he showed up to with an extension on his port. We ran a string test and it failed miserably. Yep.
Prime example.
Yep. So, Nick says, nah, not me. It would be 6 judges in my vehicle every time at finals. So anyway, all right. Other than that, Jeffrey, anything else to hit at or anything?
Nope.
I think tonight was a quality show. We got a lot of interaction. We got a lot of stuff out there. Hopefully we inspired you guys. Zamir, hit me up on Facebook Messenger, or Jeffrey, or one of us, and let's get you on, not next Monday, but the following Monday, and we'll get you on here, and we'll have talk about your stuff. But like I said, I appreciate you guys for coming in.
Yeah.
Start doing 1X shows if there's no shows in your area. Bring somebody with you to an event. Never had a single person show up to an event and go, yeah, this is just as dumb as I thought it was. It's always been, seriously, when people show up to the event and they see the enthusiasm of the people that are participating, they're like, dude, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, my last event, the shop manager was that way.
Yeah.
Was blown away. He didn't think, that was even a thing.
So, all right. Well, guys, we'll see you guys next week at 6:30 California time, the only time